Hello YouTuber. In another video, I said that I would elaborate on what mass is, for the people who are not familiar with the term. Mass is the measurement for the amount of stuff there is of something. In kilograms, kilograms is the unit we associate mass with. And it's kilograms that allow us to make our measurement of mass mean something. Just like when we use the unit pounds to make sense of weight. Now, I'm sorry for relating mass to weight because these are two different measurements and your teachers will really emphasize this. Nevertheless, comparing mass to weight gives the best representation for how mass is utilized. When we in the United States go to the store to buy a certain amount of stuff, like meat at the deli, we ask the person at the counter for a specific number of pounds. In other parts of the world, people measure their groceries by mass, by asking for a specific number of kilograms. So what is the difference between mass and weight? The difference is that weight doesn't measure how much stuff there actually is, like mass does. It measures how heavy the stuff is. So is there a difference? When it comes to trading, it certainly does. This is because how heavy something is depends on two variables. So if we're going to measure weight, there are two things that are taken into consideration. An object's mass, the amount of stuff that the object is made out of, and the gravity at its particular location. For those of you who are not familiar with the physics term, or the physics equation, weight equals mass times gravity. So weight is just the product of mass and gravity. So why is this relevant? There are points on the Earth where gravity can differ very slightly. How does this relate to trade, as I just mentioned? Say a salt company is sending off 1,000-pound purchase of salt to a market. So we got our salt company, and they're transporting 1,000 pounds of salt to our markets. When the market receives the salt, they measure it and find that they received 995 pounds. Did the company cheat the market by removing 5 pounds of salt? Maybe, but assuming that this isn't the case and that none of the salt fell out during transport, what could have happened is that the gravity at these two locations, the up in the mountains and down on the surface of the Earth, the gravity at these two locations were just enough that at the two different locations, two different weights of salt were measured. Because as I had just stated, there are two variables. So even though that mass was constant, the gravity may have changed and therefore affected the weight. This dilemma is handled by using mass when trading. No matter where an object is, whether it is in different parts of the world, deep under the Earth's surface, or up on the moon, an object's mass will always be constant because the amount of stuff there is does not change. And this is this is extremely important for your physics and chemistry classes. Mass does not change. Weight changes. Assuming that there is no change in the amount of the object, weight changes with gravity, and therefore slightly by location. Very, very, very slightly. The reason I use these large numbers was because when I say there's a difference in gravity, maybe up here is maybe, I'm just saying numbers, 9.78. Down here, maybe it's 9.81. For most of your physics homework problems, most likely they'll just tell you to assume gravity is always 9.8 meters per second squared. In that case, you don't have to consider whether we're up in the mountain or down here on the Earth's surface. For those of you who are wondering, 1 kilogram is approximately 2.2 pounds, assuming that gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. So, I hope that this cleared up any misunderstandings that people may have had. If not, please feel free to let me know by commenting below. Thank you for your time.